The sun beat down on the dusty street of Ikeja, where the air was thick with the smell of diesel from passing downfall buses and the sizzle of akara frying at roadside stalls. In the compound, the atmosphere had grown heavier than ever, with fewer voices echoing in the courtyard and more locked doors at night. Amoka moved through her days like a shadow, her beauty still turning heads, but now with a veil of unease over the remaining neighbors. Chinedu, her devoted husband, had thrown himself into his work at the mechanic shop, trying to escape the grief of losing his sister Nkechi and the mounting mysteries around them. But peace was not to last. Welcome to Zoe's Ancestral African Folktales, a place where ancient wisdom, magic, and storytelling come alive. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a tale from our ancestors. One afternoon, as Amoka was pounding yam in the kitchen, the sound of a taxi horn blared outside. She peered through the window and felt a knot tighten in her stomach. There, stepping out with a large bag and a stern expression, was Mama Ngozi, Chinedu's mother. She was a formidable woman from the village, with skin weathered by years of farming under the harsh sun, and eyes that could pierce through lies like a machete through cassava. Mama Ngozi had never fully approved of Amoka, whispering to Chinedu back in the village that her beauty seemed too perfect, like something from the spirits. Now, she was here unannounced, her presence announced by the clock of disapproval as she surveyed the compound. "My son!" Mama Ngozi called out, her voice booming like thunder. Chinedu rushed out from the bedroom, where he had been napping after a long shift, and embraced her. Amoka wiped her hands on her wrapper and stepped forward with a forced smile. "Mama, welcome. We weren't expecting you." Mama Ngozi eyed her up and down, her lips pursed. "Expecting? I don't need invitations to see my own blood. Where are my grandchildren, eh? 2 years married, and nothing. The ancestors are waiting." Chinedu shifted uncomfortably, glancing at Amoka. The issue of children had been a sore point. Amoka's curse from the snake cult rendered her barren, a secret she guarded fiercely. Mama Ngozi wasted no time unpacking her bag, pulling out herbs and charms from the village. "I've brought medicines," she declared. "We'll fix this barrenness. No more city nonsense." As evening fell, Mama Ngozi took over the kitchen, cooking a massive pot of ogbono soup laced with bush meat, insisting it would stir the womb. Amoka ate sparingly, her mind racing. The old woman's arrival threatened her carefully balanced life, her midnight transformations, her mission to clear the compound for the cult's ritual shrine. That night, as the compound settled into an uneasy quiet, Amoka lay awake beside Chinedu. Mama Ngozi slept in the guest room, snoring loudly. At midnight, the familiar tingle began, but Amoka hesitated. The old woman's sharp ears might catch her slithering out. Still, the snake mother's voice echoed in her head, "Do not falter. The land must be ours." She transformed silently, her green mamba form gliding out through a crack in the wall. She targeted a lone widow in the far end of the compound, poisoning her water jar. Back by dawn, she slipped into bed, but Mama Ngozi was already up, brewing tea. "You sleep like the dead, Amoka," she said suspiciously. "A wife should rise early." Over the next days, Mama Ngozi's presence grated on Amoka. She organized prayers with the remaining neighbors, invoking Yoruba deities and Christian hymns alike, blaming evil forces for the deaths. Amoka joined in, her voice sweet, but inside she seethed. Then came the bombshell. Mama Ngozi announced she had arranged for Chinedu to take a second wife. Adiz is from our village, strong hips, fertile like the earth after rain. She'll give me grandchildren since this one cannot. Adiz arrived the next day, a shy young woman with wide eyes and a simple Ankara dress. Chinedu protested weakly, "Mama, I love Amoka. We'll keep trying." But Mama Ngozi was unyielding. Love doesn't fill the compound with children's laughter. Adiz stays. Amoka's rage simmered like hot oil. Sharing her husband. Impossible. As Adiz settled into the guest room, Amoka plotted. Her beauty hid the venom within, and Mama Ngozi's interference had just made her a bigger threat to the mission. The compound's spiritual energy paused beneath her feet, calling for more blood. That night, as she transformed, she whispered a curse under her breath. The game had changed. Adiz's first night in the house was restless. The city noises, honking cars, distant generators, kept her awake, far from the quiet village nights she knew. But as she finally drifted off, dreams invaded her mind like uninvited guests. She saw herself walking through a dense forest, the kind back home where elders warned of spirits. Suddenly, snakes slithered from the underbrush, dozens of them, green and black, hissing with glowing eyes. They chased her, wrapping around trees, blocking her path. Adiz ran, her heart pounding, but one lunged, biting her ankle. She woke screaming, sweat soaking her nightdress. In the morning, she shook it off as nerves from the new environment. Amoka greeted her with a warm smile, offering tea. "Bad dream?" Amoka asked innocently. Adiz nodded, describing the snakes. Amoka's eyes flickered with hidden amusement. "City stress, my sister. It'll pass." But Mama Ngozi overheard and nodded knowingly. "Snakes in dreams mean enemies. We must pray." They held a small ritual, burning incense and chanting, but Amoka participated with a secret smirk. Unbeknownst to them, she had summoned her snake sisters from the cult, ethereal spirits that could invade dreams, tormenting without physical trace. The second night was worse. Adiz dreamed of snakes again, this time in the compound itself. They coiled around her bed, whispering threats in a language she half understood. One massive serpent, with Amoka's eyes, struck at her face. She bolted upright, gasping, and even in wakefulness, closing her eyes brought flashes of scales and fangs. By day, the nightmares bled into reality. She'd see shadows slithering in corners, hear hisses in the wind. "I'm going mad," she confided in Mama Ngozi, who brewed herbal teas. Chinedu noticed her pallor, concerned. "Perhaps the city air doesn't suit you." Amoka watched it all unfold, her power growing. The snake cult taught her to wield dreams as weapons, a subtler way to eliminate threats without direct kills that might raise suspicion. She ate her forbidden snake food in secret, raw lizards mixed with bitter cola, replenishing the energy needed for such spells. Meanwhile, her midnight transformations continued. She poisoned another neighbor's meal, a young man who had stared too long at her beauty. His death the next day was blamed on food poisoning from a street vendor, adding to the compound's dread. Adiz's torment escalated. On the third night, the snakes in her dream caught her, wrapping around her body, squeezing until she couldn't breathe. She fell in the dream, scraping her knee, and woke to find a real bruise on her leg. "This house is cursed," she whispered to herself. Amoka overheard, feigning concern. Let me help you pray. But her touch sent chills through Addis. Mama Ngozi grew worried, blaming evil spirits, and invited a local pastor. During the prayer session, Addis screamed as visions assaulted her even awake, snakes crawling up the walls. Chinedu pulled Amoka aside. This is strange. First the deaths, now this. Amoka hugged him, her voice soothing. It's just coincidence, my love. We'll protect her. But inwardly, she reveled. The snake mother's approval came in a vision, drive her out. No rivals. As days passed, Addis barely slept, her eyes hollow, jumping at shadows. The compound whispered about her madness, some linking it to the ongoing deaths. Amoka's mission advanced, 3 more neighbors fled in fear, leaving empty flats ripe for the court's claim. By the week's end, Addis was a shell, her fatal promise forgotten in terror. Amoka prepared for the final push, her beauty a mask for the serpent's cunning. Addis could no longer bear it. The nightmares had become a relentless assault, blending dream and reality until she questioned her sanity. One afternoon, as the sun dipped low over Lagos's skyline, casting orange hues on the compound's walls, she packed her bag in secret. Her hands trembled as she folded her clothes, flashes of snakes making her drop items. I can't stay, she muttered. Mama Ngozi was at the market, Chinedu at work, and Amoka pretended to nap, but watched through slitted eyes. That night, the dreams peaked. A horde of snakes dragged her into a pit, their leader morphing into Amoka's face, laughing. Addis woke thrashing, bruising her arm on the bed frame. Dawn brought no relief, even the compound's mango tree seemed alive with writhing branches. She slipped out before breakfast, hailing a kikine pep at the gate. To the park, she told the driver, her voice breaking. As the tricycle sped away, she glanced back, convinced she saw a green serpent in the dust. Back home, Mama Ngozi returned to find the guest room empty. Addis. Where is she? She stormed into the living room, accusing Amoka. What did you do? You quarreled with her. Amoka feigned surprise, tears welling. Mama, I tried to be kind. Maybe the city frightened her. Chinedu arrived home to the chaos, disappointed but relieved, no more tension. Let her go if she wants, he said, hugging Amoka. The departure fueled gossip. Neighbors whispered, that new girl ran like she saw a ghost. Amoka overheard and smiled inwardly. Her spell had worked perfectly, no blood on her hands. That night, emboldened, she transformed and struck again, poisoning a family stew. The next day's deaths, attributed to bad oil, cleared 2 more flats. Mama Ngozi fumed, calling the village. Amoka drove her away. I'll bring another. But Amoka had other plans. The compound's energy hummed stronger, the cult's shrine vision clearer in her dreams. She ate more snake food, her power peaking. Chinedu noticed the empty rooms. Our home is becoming a graveyard. Amoka soothed him, we'll fill it with our children someday. But the curse laughed at that lie. Addis' flight marked a turning point. Amoka's rivals diminished, but suspicion simmered. Mama Ngozi vowed revenge, unaware she was next in the serpent sights. Mama Ngozi's anger boiled over like a pot of forgotten soup. Pacing the living room, she pointed at Amoka. You witch! You chased Adis away with your jealousy. Her words cut deep, echoing the truth Amoka hid. Chinedu defended his wife. Mama, calm down. Adis left on her own. But the old woman was unrelenting, her village wisdom sensing something amiss. Beauty like hers hides darkness. No children. Death everywhere. I see through you. Amoka endured the tirade, her eyes downcast, but fury raged inside. That night, as Mama Ngozi ranted to Chinedu about finding another wife, Amoka slipped away to transform. But instead of a direct kill, she cast a curse, a subtle spell learned from the cult, invoking spirits to bring misfortune. As the Green Mamba, she slithered to the roadside where Mama Ngozi would travel back to the village, leaving a ritual mark in the dirt. The next day, Mama Ngozi boarded a bus to the village, still muttering threats. I'll return and expose her. Hours later, news came. The bus had swerved off the road near Ibadan, crashing into a ditch. Mama Ngozi survived but was paralyzed from the waist down, her tongue twisted, rendering her mute. Villagers called it an accident, bad bricks, but Amoka knew better. Her curse had worked, silencing the threat. Chinedu was heartbroken, rushing to the village hospital. Amoka accompanied him, playing the dutiful daughter-in-law, shedding tears. Oh, Mama, what happened? The doctors said stroke from shock, but the timing was perfect. Back in Lagos, the compound mourned another tragedy, linking it to the curse. Amoka's kills continued. She poisoned water tanks, clearing 4 more neighbors over the week, deaths disguised as cholera outbreaks. Chinedu grew distant, blaming fate. Why us? Amoka comforted him, her touch cold. The snake mother appeared in visions. Well done. Silence the voices. Mama Ngozi's wrath had backfired, leaving her broken, and Amoka stronger. Emeka had been a thorn, but now another neighbor emerged as a target, Obi, the compound's notorious womanizer. A flashy trader dealing in electronics at Alaba Market, Obi chased cats like a hunter after game. He had eyed Amoka since her arrival, his gaze lingering too long, whispering to friends about her irresistible curves. Married men were his competition. He believed money could buy any woman's affection. One sunny afternoon, as Amoka walked to the local market for peppers and crayfish, Obi approached her near the gate. His shirt unbuttoned to show a gold chain, he flashed a smile. Amoka, my beauty. You shine like the sun. I know you're married, but let's be real, Chinedu can't give you everything. I have money, cars. Just one night, and I'll spoil you. Amoka paused, her mind calculating. In the competitor's tale, it was Mr. Innocent. Here, Obi would serve as bait for her trap. She laughed softly, playing along. You tempt me, Obi. Fine, tonight at your place. But discreet. Obi's eyes lit up, he strutted home, preparing. Amoka had no intention of romance, she hungered for revenge on all who disrespected her mission. That evening, as Chinedu dozed after dinner, laced with her sleeping herbs, Amoka slipped out, not transforming yet. Obi welcomed her with wine and dim lights. You're mine tonight. But before anything happened, Chinedu, suspicious from recent oddities, had followed her. Bursting in, he roared, "How dare you touch my wife?" A fight ensued, punches flew, furniture broke. Chinedu, enraged, knocked over a lantern, setting curtains ablaze. Obi screamed as flames spread. Neighbors rushed in, dousing the fire, but Obi's house was damaged. Police arrived, arresting Chinedu for arson and assault. Amaka watched, feigning shock, her plan unfolding. Obi's mistake had ensnared her husband, buying her time. Locked in a dingy police cell in Ikeja station, Chinedu seethed with betrayal. My wife, cheating. The thought gnawed at him like termites on wood. Meanwhile, Amaka returned home, her mind racing. She hadn't intended for Chinedu to follow. Now, he believed the worst. That night, at midnight, she transformed freely, no watchful eyes. As the Green Mamba, she slithered through the compound, poisoning 2 more homes, families who had witnessed the fight and gossiped. By morning, those deaths added to the tally, blamed on smoke inhalation from Obi's fire, perfect cover. Amaka visited the station, her beauty charming the officers. Please, he was defending my honor. Obi tried to force me. Her tears swayed them. Chinedu was released on bail, but the damage was done. He returned home silent, avoiding her touch. That evening, he confronted her. Was it true? The prayers were lies. Amaka wept. No, love. Obi lured me to talk business, but he attacked. I fought him off. Chinedu wanted to believe, but doubt lingered. Secretly, he began watching her at night, pretending to sleep. Amaka sensed his suspicion. Her mission pressed, over half the neighbors gone, the land's energy vibrating. The snake mother warned in dreams, beware the husband. He sees too much. Amaka increased her sleeping herbs in his food, but Chinedu's discovery had cracked their bond. With Chinedu home but distant, Amaka played the victim. Forgive me for not telling you about Obi, she pleaded, cooking his favorite, pounded yam with egusi. He ate wearily, his trust eroded. Obi, meanwhile, rebuilt his house, boasting about the crazy husband, but avoiding Amaka. Neighbors gossiped, she cheated, he burned the house. Amaka overheard 2 women at the well. That beauty is trouble. Rage flared, she'd deal with them later. At the station for final statements, Amaka begged the officers again, an angry man is mad, imagine your wife. They released Chinedu fully, pitying him. Home, he softened slightly, hugging her. I love you too much to let go. Amaka's plea worked, but tension remained. That night, she made him sleep deeply, transforming to kill the gossipers. Deaths disguised as false. Her plea bought time, but Chinedu's eyes watched sharper. The 2 women, Chioma and Ezin, had sealed their doom with whispers. Chioma, a hairdresser, and Ezin, a seamstress, spread tales at the market. Amaka's cheating caused the fire. Amaka, overhearing, marked them. That midnight, drugging Chinedu, she transformed and slithered to their homes. Biting Chioma in sleep, then Ezin. Venom left electrocution marks, fused wires blamed. Morning brought screams, bodies charred as if shocked. Compound panic, evil everywhere. Amaka consoled, her secret safe. Obi fell ill next, slow poison from Amaka's curse, wasting away. Doctors puzzled, she visited, feigning care. Get well. But inwardly, die slowly. Deaths mounted, Amaka's power peaked, mission nearing end. From the court came Adana, a fellow snake witch, sent by the snake mother. She arrived posing as a distant cousin, her beauty rivaling Amoka's, smooth skin, piercing eyes. "Sister, I've come to help," she said, hugging Amoka. Privately, Adana warned, "The mother says you're slow. Finish the neighbors or face punishment." Amoka bristled, "It's not easy with Chinedu watching." Adana stayed, observing. Chinedu welcomed her, unaware. Adana's presence aided kills. Together, they poisoned 3 more, deaths as illnesses. But Adana eyed Chinedu, her heart stirring. "He's handsome," she thought. Tension brewed between the witches. Adana's stay lengthened, her affection for Chinedu growing. She cooked for him, laughed at his jokes, her touches lingering. Amoka noticed, jealousy flaring. "Stay away," she hissed privately. Adana retorted, "Focus on the mission. I've helped kill 5 more." Indeed, the compound emptied, deaths rampant, accidents, diseases. Chinedu, oblivious, enjoyed Adana's company, easing his suspicions of Amoka. But one night, he overheard them whispering about snakes and the mother. Doubt returned. Amoka confronted Adana, "Betray me, and you're next." Adana smiled, "I want him, but the court comes first." The attraction endangered all, as the mission teetered. Thanks for watching Zoe's Ancestral African Folktales, where the wisdom of our ancestors lives on. If you enjoyed this story, drop a like, leave a comment with your favorite part, and share it with someone who loves great tales. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the next journey into African folklore.